So like Dr. Green, I probably get asked the same questions all the time about what I do, which is nowhere near as important as what he does. But people always ask me, why is the news so bad? And I just say, better you live in a country where you're permitted to hear bad news than in a country where you cannot. My job as a journalist is not to shovel information at you. That's like C-SPAN. And C-SPAN is boring and it's complicated, and that's why nobody watches it. I need to make sense of it and tell a story, but more importantly, to hold people in power accountable. And that's another point I think people miss because, again, we just take it for granted in this country. And by highlighting the bad news, or what we call the problems, it allows us in this democracy to discuss solutions. And that's why we are here tonight. The GPF Foundation mission is about solutions, so your children and grandchildren don't lose their lives the way Greg Friedman lost his. Greg died at the age of 27 after taking ecstasy before a concert. He had no idea it could kill him. He may have heard that recreational drugs were being adulterated, but he certainly didn't know that the risks were completely different and more deadly than ever before. The medical community lacked a consistent protocol for diagnosing and treating patients in his situation. Tonight, the GPF Foundation marks 5 years of carrying out their life-saving mission. Thank you for joining us tonight, both in person and streaming live, for this evening of discovery. We're thrilled to feature two acclaimed speakers, Tony Dungy and Brian Green. Each of them embody Greg's deeply held passions. Please join me in welcoming Nancy and Ross Friedman to the podium as they provide a brief update about the Foundation's significant progress to date.
Anyway, this is also live stream, which makes it a little more difficult to do what I just did. But Larry, thank you for joining us again as Master of Ceremonies. Your being here helps elevate our mission and shines a brighter light on what we're trying to achieve. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. Okay. Yay, I'm actually standing with the microphone in front of me. Anyway, we are so thrilled to welcome everyone in the room and all those watching over live stream as we mark this significant milestone. 5 years ago, our family experienced the unimaginable, and we vowed to do everything we could to prevent another tragic death from happening to anyone else. We pledged to bring awareness to the subject of recreational drug adulterations, since it was not even talked about among families, communities, institutions, and even friends. Many know, as Greg did, that taking drugs is risky, but today's practice of adding fentanyl and other lethal chemicals to drugs like ecstasy, cocaine, methamphetamines, prescription medication is a game changer. And it's a death sentence for tens of thousands of young adults each year. So I ask you to think about something that's inherent to human nature. Consider that we tend to ignore things until they affect us personally. We wait until we have something compelling that draws us in. I know some of you here tonight were at the 4th of July parade in downtown Highland Park, the community that many of us grew up in, and where we're holding this event tonight. Did our knowledge of mass shootings in this country prepare us for what happened? I don't believe any of us thought it would really happen here. The fact that this horrible tragedy did happen right here in our community made us all rethink this possibility that statistics play out randomly and everyone, everywhere is fair game. 5 years ago, August 4th, 2017, was the moment we fully understood this truth. We vowed then to make as many people as possible aware that our children and grandchildren were at risk if they don't understand that the dangers of today's recreational drugs are unique. They're playing a game of modern-day Russian roulette. When we formed this foundation and began to apply our mission, we decided that 2 areas would allow us to most positively impact our target audience. Today, we are focused on developing educational and medical programmatic initiatives. We include medical because Greg went to a doctor and told him he took Molly. The doctor didn't understand or listen. There was and still is a blind spot in the medical community regarding recreational drugs. It's not recognizable to them unless there's an obvious change in behavior. We believe that empowering the medical community with essential resources holds the key to saving lives. And in a minute, Ross will discuss some of the amazing growth opportunities that we're considering at this 5-year milestone. Until then, let's remember why we're here. Many of you have seen in the news that fentanyl is 50 times more powerful than heroin. Last year, 71,000 deaths were linked to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Kids have unprecedented access to recreational and prescription drugs through social media sites like Snapchat, TikTok, and others. We hear these facts and we tell ourselves things like, experimenting is part of being a teen. We did it and we were all okay. Or my child is in his 30s. He's way past that stage. Or my kid is just having fun. She doesn't have a problem. Tonight, I ask all of us to change the story we tell ourselves and to fight against our human inclination to write this off because it's never going to happen to us. In fact, just believing that it could is the biggest step towards saving our kids' lives. We're not judging, condoning, or condemning these decisions. We merely want to educate the world so we can prevent the most unfortunate outcome, death. So with this in mind, I'd like to thank everyone who's brought us to this moment. Make this a little lighter. To our amazing event committee, Jana, Karen, you should probably stand up, Barry, and David, over there. Yes. You've paid attention to every detail. And to our program manager, Frey Hoffman, who's behind the scenes here completely, this whole night, you're a genius. You've all gone above and beyond to make this event happen in the highest style of the art. The executive board, advisory board, fellows, and interns, you are the fuel that makes this engine run, and we appreciate you so much. To our angel and corporate donors, our partners, and to all of our devoted supporters here and at home, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We could never have gotten this far without you. And lastly, Greg's absence is in my family's life. Even after 5 years, it's a heartbreak we cope with every single day. As time goes on, we miss Greg more. So to my family, who puts up with me and with whom I would not have the strength to be here, I love you. Ross, the driver and motivator for the foundation, and my best friend, we're in it together, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for who you are, Ross.
Thank you, Nancy. You are my rock, our family's rock, my hero, and my love. And yes, thank all of you for being here. We are extremely grateful for your support and commitment to making our kids and grandchildren safer. It's making all the difference. The GPF Foundation was formed with a specific mission to save lives by supporting education, appropriate treatment, and overall awareness of the dangers related to recreational drugs. With two areas of focus that Nancy mentioned, educational and medical. The goal of the educational initiative is to bring awareness to the dangers of today's recreational drugs. Tens of millions of millennials, Gen Z, and other generational users are unfamiliar with the inherent risks and widespread practice of adulteration. The target audience has been 18 to 35-year-olds, and we have directed our initial efforts towards college campuses with a goal of addressing impacted younger audiences. Early collaborations with NYU Langone Medical Center and Rosalind Franklin University of Medicine and Science allowed us to create presentations for this demographic regionally and ultimately for audiences nationally. In the ensuing 5 years, we have successfully rolled out comprehensive peer-to-peer video presentations addressing risks, outcomes, appropriate treatment, and safe zones related to recreational drug dangers. Our sights remain set on reaching a much larger and possibly younger audience utilizing technology. The goal of the medical initiative is to address the overwhelming lack of consistency regarding diagnosis and treatment protocols within the medical community. We are quite fortunate to have established a significant number of extraordinary relationships with doctors, hospital systems, and received overwhelming feedback that this was the blind spot Nancy mentioned within the medical community. We set out to create tools that would better train ER doctors and the medical community to this blind spot, including drug-induced psychosis. You might have seen the recent WGN news piece on our joint venture with Rosalind Franklin University, through which we developed a simulation training module that has been carried on the medical application program Full Code. We are over the moon to share that as of today, our module has been played more than 38,000 times by medical professionals and students worldwide, thereby directly training primary care and ER physicians as well as medical students to appropriate diagnostic and treatment protocols. This accomplishment sharpens our focus to push forward and advance our mission on a much larger scale. We are deeply humbled to have had so many of you join us on this journey from the start. But we are truthfully in awe of where that support has landed us at this 5-year mark. We have reached a pivotal moment where time, determination, and extraordinary support have put us in position to consider some amazing large-scale initiatives. The details are exciting, but the essence of what I hope you'll hear is this. We are meeting our goals, becoming widely known, and our reputation within the academic and medical communities is allowing us to attract greater opportunities for saving lives. The GPF Foundation's relationships have opened the door to scalable, transformational opportunities that simply were not possible before and that require commensurate funding. We are eternally grateful for the support you have given over the past 5 years and are excited to share the following initiatives being vetted for consideration. These initiatives are listed on the screens to our side. Endowed medical school fellowships, diagnostic drop-down menu, community outreach and education, partnership with Lurie Children's Hospital, and first responders training program. More information is available on the brochures at your tables. I hope you will reach out to any of us should you have any interest in assisting us with moving these initiatives forward with the GPF Foundation. We thank you so much for believing not just in our mission, but in our ability to make it happen.